Hi there and welcome to my channel. This is Kate in Australia in the Journal Nest, and I'm overwhelmed with happiness. I'm so excited to be here, so thank you for joining me. It's Sunday morning of a long weekend in Australia, and that is always a favourite time for our projects. So I'm just back in my nest. This is about Roxy's Journal of Stitchery and the new prompt, which I'm going to start, but as I promised myself and you, I'm going to get things done. So this is my quick reveal before we get on to the new project of my large sewing basket, my second covered box that I did from the volume 5, prompt 5. Sorry if I've got that all wrong. I have recycled or upcycled this old basket. I've wrapped the handle just with variegated cotton to give it a bit of life. I have covered, and if you know that I've been traveling, I took this piece overseas with me and worked at it all over the place. This is such a huge box, I think you remember. I've also took the sides with me. I've added a little velvet tab here. It's huge scale. It's 12 inches by 12, but we've gone all the way around with joyfulness. And I'll just bring you to this side. And the final thing is, I think I told you that I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this, but I have to say I have been expanding all over my house, including the lounge room when I stitch at night. So I've done the top two here, and I've got to take my eyes off the camera, but I found this incredible, I think she's like Little Bo Peep, in the vintage shop in Kansas. So I have put that up there. I've done this since I've come home. Lots of different embroideries, but back to my point, this is big enough to hold my baby first covered box. You've seen this many times. And I'm going to keep my threads in here because that gives me joy. I have my horsewhip in here, and if you like, this is going to be my colourful box. And I've also added this new little nest, and I did have I shared this when I came home, and one of my American subbies, bless you Trish, told me to look on the bottom, and I did find that this is a Longaberger or Berger basket, hand woven out of Dresden, Ohio, 1998. So that's got a bit of history, but that's going to keep my little bits of flowers and things with me. So I'll have a project on top, threads, horsewhip, and little bits and pieces. I don't know whether you saw me when I did that. So just to say, plenty of room. So it's like, if you like, a big storage box that reminds me of the joy. So there's my little one. I made this a week ago in the States, and it's just going to pop in there. But let's get to the new challenge. And it's going to be, sorry, Katie's a bit clumsy at the best of times. How do I do this? How are you, by the way? Are you excited that it's the weekend? I am, as I said, probably overly excited because, and again, welcome to all my subbies and people just watching me maybe for the first time. As you said, you took great care of me when I was away. It's lovely to go away, but there's no nicer place than to be back home. So here I am. Now, the Journal Nest is all about nests, and I use these to organise and keep things around me. So remember, this is about revealing what I'm going to do for the next project. But for a little bit of context, and I know many of you know this, but just in case some of you don't, for context, I make junk journals and I slow stitch many of the pieces that go into these journals. So I call them treasure pockets, etc. So these tend to be slow stitched in the neutral colours and often with a pop of indigo. And when I work in this colour scheme, I like to surround myself in the nest with things of complementary colours. So hence I have these baskets or nests, but I'm always swapping my paper and my fabric nests, if you know what I mean. So I was inspired for this challenge to think about my nests, and this is the one that I probably love the most. It's an IKEA basket that I've had for years and years and years. It used to hold a plant in it, but now it holds a lot of these, and anytime I go to an op shop and I find a similar basket, this one my husband brought back from when he lived in Kenya, so that's a treasure in itself, and I'll put that in there. So that holds my small special pieces, deeper, etc. And these are the fabrics. So the big reveal is I have used this idea to inspire that I'm going to make a nest. So my vessel is a nest, and I used the measurements of this bowl to sort of get me going. It's going to be a wonky nest, which is so purely Kate. So I'm going to layer some things around, and we're going to work on this today. So a little bit of context. I know everyone's coming up with lots of different ideas, and I think bless you, Rachel and Sarah, because you've set the world on fire, and look how many of us are joining in. So when I went to the sewing basket sale with the Girls of Green Door a couple of weeks ago, gee, the year is flying, I found this piece of old quilt, and I think I've shared this before, that it's been hand quilted, and I just grabbed it because of the lovely colour and the degree of detail on it. The only back side is it's got, well, I suppose it's not a back side for quilters, but for me it hasn't got wool inside, but I thought, challenge yourself, Kate. So I have cut 2 circles, and again, if you know my style, it is about the raw edges and the hanging threads, so that's just me. And 2 circles, so the bottom's thicker and the sides are wonky. I gathered it round, and I'm to the point of now just doing a little layer of stitching around the top. You know I like to relax myself with a bit of that first, so we're going to settle with some slow stitch, and then we're going to start making some of the details together. I'll just get my things organized because I like to get a little nest. This little box I shared before I found, it's the Union Pacific at the little vintage store, and I think that's just nice to hold a little collection of my memories. So, as I said, Sunday morning, could there be a better time? Oh, I better just, I'm not used to this after being on the road and having to make do. My husband said, oh, Kate, I'm so glad you're back because your backgrounds weren't very good over there. And I said, honey, it was enough that I could actually set it up, because I am a novice filmer, as many of you know. So anyway, we'll get better. So the purpose of this little running stitch around the top is probably just to hold the wadding in place, and I intend to put things up and over this top edge. Have I been talking too fast? First night back, jet lag is usually okay. So yes, I slept, pushed through the day, and made it to the normal bedtime and slept really well. So what about you when you travel? How do you go with jet lag? I find it hits me day 2 or day 3. There's one night over there where I woke up at 12 noon the next day. I couldn't believe it. But then the whole night ahead, I did not sleep a wink. So here we go. This is, I suppose technically you could call it basting or tacking, but it's still so enjoyable. So sorry, I'm not sure what I'm thinking. I'm jumping ahead, but I may as well say this. So my plan is to do this first one in the neutrals, so I can hold my, can be an additional nest, and then I think I'll do one in my Poppy Joy colours, like my oranges and pinks. And so, because a bowl or a vessel or a nest is so handy just to put your hand in and out without a lid. And I have got some other pieces that I've stitched earlier, but I just don't think they're the right shape for a vessel as yet. So I'm wondering where you are, because I suppose it's really the first week of June, isn't it? And I'm also excited about the July when we start the new project, because I do happen to have, are they Edith Holden? Some of those books that I use in my journals. And that will be a lovely, see, look, I love a fabric nest. Oh, there's the neighbour's dog on a Sunday. We'll just wait to see if the lawnmower starts, but it's actually been pouring rain here and the ground is so soggy, so we might not hear the mower sound, but if we do, we'll just embrace this. Okay, now I know this isn't particularly exciting to see Kate just doing big stitches, but as I've often shared, this is the beginning of my creative process. It's my centering, my mindfulness. I get the flow going. And I've already got some ideas of maybe blending some crochet into this nest. There might be 3 nests, who knows? Because Kate can never have enough nests. Thank you too to all of you who've welcomed me home. And again, I just have to say what a wonderful community this is. Stitchers, journalers, makers, creative minds, whatever we do, we're connected around the world. Now I know I could have made, like with my sewing baskets and little covered boxes, I could have made this edge completely separate and then sewed it on, but Impatient Kate just wanted to make sure I could get a sort of shape first. So probably doing it the opposite to many people. I don't plan, I just do it. And when we're confident to just give it a try, and even if it's a failure, that is okay. But really, I don't think I can go, look, it's already collecting bits and pieces in it. Can't go wrong. All right, so that thread's just run out. So let's think about my ideas for the side. I made this as a little treasure pocket for my journal, but I think my idea is to start in this story with straight neutrals. So let's put that out of the way. Let's put our nest out of the way. And I don't know whether I've talked about this, but I do like the bottom in that it's got some French knots and it's got quite a lot of texture already. So we're going to put the interest around the sides first, and then we'll work out. So I've gathered together some pieces in colours that would be appropriate to the nest. So I have to say this is an order from Rachel in Italy. So I think it'd be appropriate if I've not used this at all. I don't know whether it, whoops, oh it does. I'm going to do a couple of little pieces of this. So let's go, I love that edge. So let's go for a little square. Gosh, I haven't got my sewing scissors down here. These are my journal-y pasty ones. So just thinking, what's that? A rectangle and a square at somewhere might be nice. Let's put them in there. Just check that you can see all of this. I'm thinking I might stand up. Actually, that would be good for the posture and help me see what I'm doing. This is also beautiful with a slight stripe. Go here. So that's sort of a bigger square, and let's make a rectangle. I love those edges, it's fraying beautifully. And I don't want to cover it all up, so where there's some deep stitching, we'll leave that. I brought the white down, but I think that's too white. No. Okay, the other thing I did notice is that this is just a cotton like a calico, so it's not as easy to sew on. So I'm conscious that I want some linens and nice pleasurable bits to sew on here. And I embellish, oh gosh, this is I'm not strong enough. It's got a little stripe, which I like. Let's do a little scrap of that. This has got a bee on it. So let's see if we can just do a strip. Oh, here's Mum's scissors. They safely made it all the way around with me in my checked-in luggage. And then I did receive this amazing piece of work. It's got a little embroidery there, and so I'm thinking that would be lovely. And let's take just a square of this, and it's got a lovely crochet on the end. Ecru, I think, would be those colours. I'm not counting how many pieces I have. Okay, this is this beautiful vintage apron from the States that I've harvested the lace off this piece. We'll keep that seam. Oh gosh, now I'm going to run out of batteries. So if I disappear, you'll know that it wasn't intentional. Look at that. It actually gathers up. Right, so that's inspiring enough for me to get started. Actually, here we go. Here's another little piece, napkin with some white. Okay, let's start. So I can't help myself. We'll come back to that and I'll take you through my ideas. Might need to do a short one anyway because I do need to get some food for the house. But I'd much rather do this. Okay, so this was already threaded. Let's get going. So I'm going to start here because this is a really plain piece. And I'm thinking I'm going to go in there. I've just buried my needle already. So I'm sort of going to do an, that was a real Australian goner, wasn't it? Sorry about that. I'm going to do like a little tiny invisible stitch, which I'm gradually learning the hang of, because I like that idea that you do a tiny little running stitch on the front and a big stitch on the back. Isn't that edge is just beautiful. So go nice and fast. We'll get to a point nearly halfway along, yep. And then we'll make a decision about what gets added on now. And we know the rule of just overlapping and in collage. So let's, where's my needle? Come up here. So funny, when I was finishing off my basket this morning and thinking about, you know, long weekends and winter, it just really, I actually think I just haven't had time to think about it for so long, but it just reminded me that, you know, the idea of having an extra day off and the time, I have to undo that, everyone, because I wasn't concentrating and I came up too far. The idea of having an extra day to make would just be so exciting to me and my mum. And she'd take me shopping, or I'd say, I want to make this toy, or I want to make this dress, or I want to do a painting. And that I took that for normal, well, just for granted really, as normal. And now when I think about the joy I'm finding in stitching again and how much that was part of what I so love doing and haven't done it for so long. Now, of course, Kate could have pinned. Oh, I've done it again. Don't know why that's happening. So this is authentic. I could use the excuse that I'm jet lagged, but I don't want to do that. I just want to sew and sew and sew all day after I've got the groceries. So I know quite a number of you just enjoy a Sunday morning stitch along. So I'm going to just go to that point and now make a decision to come across using the holes of the crochet. whatever work this is. It's very, very fine. So I probably should admit in advance that I won't be able to stop stitching this during the week, and it is very likely that I'll start my next one as well. So hopefully by next time you tune in, there'll be lots of... Okay, so I'm liking that idea that we've got fringe, interest, a little bit of plain, another bit of textural lining. And you're probably noticing that I'm not actually stitching the whole thing down because there'll be other embellishments that go over the top and embroidery. And I'm really going to try and constrain myself not to go too much into colour. But, you know, you still need a sort of pop every now and then, don't you, to up here. I'm having so much fun. I mean, again, traditionally in Australia, this is the time where people go away camping. It's winter, but it's not too cold, but it's the perfect time to light the fire, have coffee, chocolates, all of those wonderful things that are great for our well-being. Just look at that. I just love that. And forever, this will be a memory of the nest. Okay, let's see. What haven't I used yet? A bit of this with the bee on it. Yeah, I think I'm still on camera. So what if I tuck this little bee in here just as a curiosity? We'll go down. So those of you who like my colours, my colourful, joyful things, don't worry, I'll be doing one of those as well. And for those of you who like my neutrals, especially from my journal making, you'll see this regularly pop up on my... Oh, I don't want to cover too much of that. I haven't. It's about seeing that bee. There we are. Twist this around a little bit. There we go. So the daisy is still showing there, covering the leaf a little bit. And because this is nice linen, I think we'll have a few bigger stitches. To highlight the bee. Of course, they're wonky. Oops. How are you going with all your projects? Are you a finisher, or are you leaping onto this one without your past one being finished? Whichever way, it's all good, isn't it? Up to. Remember to share what you're up to. I love this hashtag idea that wherever we are, we can just have a look at what other people are making. We need an online gallery. That's what we need. we go. All right, think I'm going to finish it there. So just as a recap for this challenge, this prompt, I'm working on a nest that will go with my journaling colours, so it can sit when I'm making, be a reminder of my slow stitching. I want to say again, sincere thanks for your kindness and your care, and I just wish you, see, it's going to be so floppy and wonky. I love it. Have a happy day, and I'll see you next time.